All the Way to America, the story of a big Italian family and a little shovel, written by Dan Yaccarino. And I want you to notice here this little shovel in his backpack, this artifact that he talks about. So this might not be the same type of shovel that you're thinking about. I think of this as a scoop, but he calls it the shovel. This is interesting too. This picture shows from Italy all the way to the United States. Many immigrants came this way by ship to Ellis Island, and you'll see right here the Statue of Liberty. And this book is read with permission by Doubleday Publishing. My great-grandfather, Michele Icarino, grew up on a farm in Sorrento, Italy. When he was a boy, his father gave him a little shovel so he could help tend the zucchini, tomatoes, and strawberries that his family sold in the village. They worked very hard, but they were always very poor. And so when he was a young man, Michele left Italy and went all the way to America in search of new opportunities. Work hard, his father told him, handing him the little shovel. But remember to enjoy life. And never forget your family, his mother said. She hugged him and gave him their few family photographs and her recipe for tomato sauce. It was a long journey, and how different New York was from his tiny village in Italy. Like many immigrants passing through Ellis Island at the turn of the last century, he was given a new name. Michele Icarino was now Michael Yaccarino. He was happy to be in America, but he never forgot his family in Sorrento. Friends from home helped each other in this new country. Michael found work in a bakery owned by a man who had also come from Sorrento. Michael polished his little shovel till it shined and used it to measure out flour and sugar. Michael met Adeline, and soon they were married. They found an apartment in a neighborhood called Little Italy, where many other recent immigrants lived as well. Do you think they picked that spot on purpose, the neighborhood called Little Italy, where other recent immigrants lived as well? Can you think of any reasons why they chose to live in that spot? Did they all speak English? You have to think about these things. They had 5 children and did their best to teach them to work hard, enjoy life, and love their family. Michael started his own business as a pushcart peddler and continued to use the little shovel, this time to measure out dried fruits and nuts. His oldest son was named Anelio, but everyone called him Dan. Back then, children often had to leave school to help support their families. So from the age of 12, Dan worked for his father. Now this Dan is Dan Yaccarino's grandfather. This is not the author that they're talking about. When Dan grew up, he married Helen. These are my grandparents. Together, Dan and Helen opened up a market. They sold all sorts of wonderful Italian food. Now the little shovel belonged to Dan, and he used it to measure out beans, macaroni, and olives. Dan always dreamed of living in the country, so he and Helen bought a house with a big yard and raised a family there. He loved having everyone over for Sunday dinners. Dan loved cooking. Dan's love of cooking led him to open a restaurant. He made pizza, eggplant parmigiana, and spaghetti, all with his grandmother's tomato sauce, of course. Dan's son, Mike, would help out in the kitchen after school. And you can see right there that Mike, that's Dan Yaccarino's dad. By now, the family was so large that celebrations were held at the restaurant. Everyone would come together to talk, laugh, and of course, eat. When Mike was a young man, he married Elaine. These are my parents. Mike opened a barber shop, and he used the little shovel to pour rock salt all over the sidewalk whenever it snowed. I grew up in a big house in the suburbs, not far from my grandparents. We had a garden in the backyard, and I would help my father tend to the tomato plants. Every year, my parents would take my brother, my sister, and me to the Feast of San Germano in Little Italy. We watched the parade, listened to Italian folk songs, and ate hot zipoli. I loved New York City. So when I grew up, I moved back to the city where my great grandfather, Michael, had lived. Work hard, my father told me as he handed me the little shovel, but remember to enjoy life. And don't forget to call your family, said my mother. I did work hard, and after a few years, I became an author and an illustrator, creating books for children. And then I married Sue, and soon our son was born. His name is Michael, after my father and my great grandfather. Now I watch Michael and his sister Lucy work on our small terrace with the very same shovel that their great great grandfather brought all the way to America. We grow zucchini, tomatoes, and strawberries. I do my best to teach them to work hard, enjoy life, and love their family. What a great message with this story, and so interesting tying it all together with that artifact. I hope you enjoyed this one.